All right, welcome everyone. My name is Karen Auki-Quider, and I'm the host for today's discussion, which is on MIU's unique community. We're calling this webinar Global Community with Heart, which really encapsulates the unique culture that's developed here. So first of all, I wanted to speak a little bit about the university in general. And we are the home of consciousness-based education, but this has come to mean a few different things. I mean, first of all, consciousness, we really do have a very particular way of presenting consciousness in that it's not just the self-awareness aspect of human dimension, but it's also speaking to a unique paradigm in which consciousness is presented as a field, an underlying field of creative intelligence at the source of individual and universal life. And we also take care to nourish the connection to that field of consciousness through techniques like transcendental meditation and yoga practice and advanced techniques. But we also reinforce this idea and this model through our learning community and in the classroom. And we also think of consciousness as a dedication to a holistic way of living. So if you look at our website, it says a lot about our ethos and our value systems. And this just happens spontaneously when you put attention on consciousness. Somehow all the aspects of life, every nourishing value seems to be highlighted and enhanced and supported. So in time, we've come to really embrace innovative sustainability. We have a really vibrant student farm, and we really believe in eating well and organic food. We even have dairy and vegetables from local farms. And of course, along with all of this, as you're developing Nourishing the Self, what's come through all of this is a strong university culture with heart. We call that the spirit of MIU. And whether you're an online prospective student or on campus, we think it's very important for you to, or you probably are very curious to know about the whole culture that's developed. And so this webinar is dedicated at illuminating more about the spirit, the culture, and maybe to inspire you to come and visit before becoming a student or even during your studies. There's this whole rich culture that's developed around the university called Fairfield, Iowa. It's a very global community. Really important practical aspects about the university. It's accredited. It's a nonprofit university. It's accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And financial aid is available. So please complete your FAFSA so you can see how much you qualify for. And you'll notice that you can use the financial aid calculator. It only takes 10 seconds. And to find out how much your estimated award is, it's quite accurate. Okay, so here's a listing of all of our degree programs. Sustainable and regenerative living, regenerative organic agriculture. There's also creative writing and a lot of art programs and computer science. But you'll notice that whatever the angle is, or whatever, some of them you might think of as more traditional and others a little bit more unique. The angle on all of these, it's a consciousness-based approach. It's like unfolding knowledge from within and also learning the knowledge from the field and the most current knowledge. And it's about developing knowledge from inside and outside to create this integrated learning experience. All right, so in today's webinar, we hope to address these principal ideas. What do we mean by this global community with heart? What's different at MIU, and is MIU right for me? So let's go to our panelists. And for this webinar, we've selected students. We actually have one alumni, and you can all turn on your videos now. And they represent the spirit of MIU. So if you were to come to campus, you'll probably see them. And I want to just make a mention to everyone who's joining us that you're part of this experience. I have some questions I'm going to throw at them. Nothing's rehearsed. This is just to pull from them fresh to see what their experience has been like so far. These are all community leaders, thought leaders, and really have strongly integrated holistic learning, consciousness. They're vibrant members of our community. And so they're here to talk to us about what this means, heart-centered culture. Getting to know our panelists a little bit. It's a bit of a story about what drew you to MIU. And what were your initial impressions about the culture here? So who would like to take that question? Introduce yourself and think of a moment when you first arrived here. What sort of impression did you get? And what was the scene? Was it a visitor's weekend? So David, you want to take it?
Yeah, so we're talking about like we first arrived here. That's what.
First impressions. Yeah.
All
The
right. Yeah, so for me, I mean, this is a really good question. I had learned about MIU, probably 4 years back, and at the time I was traveling through all these different countries through South America and Central America, and I was unsure about like going back to a traditional form of education, and community became very important to me as I was traveling abroad in different communities. And, it took definitely a while for me to like finally get to the point of being able to come out and travel and make it here. And there was a lot of unknown factors because I didn't always like I couldn't always find exactly where all the events would be or like what kind of people would be here. There was just a lot of unknown factors. But making the leap out here, I was surprised beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. I would say mostly because for such a what you would call a small town, like for me, I grew up in the suburbs right outside of Philadelphia. And even comparing it to that, like there's at least 100 things I could literally tell you at every single week that go on within the town here. And then also amongst the student body, you find such a sense of a welcoming support when you first get here. It's like if you have like never met anybody here, you could within a week you could pretty much get to be friends with just about everyone, and that's what I felt like happened for me when I first arrived. Especially just all the different events that go on, they're perfect opportunities to go out and experience a taste of the culture. And the best thing about that too for me also was that you find people from every single walk of life. And
Yeah.
I was kind of used to that growing up in Philadelphia. And my school, like I was the minority, but my whole school had such a diverse community. So I wanted that also, so like I could feel like I'm traveling the whole world basically without actually having to do it.
I
So
love that. So like traveling the whole world, I think that's a flavor to draw out. So thank you for that, and might get back to you. But yeah,
yeah.
Marta-Kristi, can you speak a little bit about the community once you've entered it and it's really become more a part of you? How has this culture helped you personally or in terms of your education, your professional growth? And tell us a little bit about yourself too.
Yes, so hi everyone. I came here for the Consciousness and Human Potential degree. It is my dream degree. I wish I found out about it a long time ago. I have a professional background. I lived in San Francisco, and I knew that if I come back to academia and finish my degree that I left off to, and I wanted to come back to complete it, that if I did come back, I wanted to do it in a way that's stress-free. I don't want to get into a culture where it's normal to pull all-nighters at the midterms at the end of the semester. So that was very important for me. I was seeking for a community that's has similar values and aspirations, which is healthy, and it's also grounded in intellect, which I also, like David, I had traveled in different spiritual communities. I've been a seeker my whole life. And what I really love at MIU about MIU is that it has helped me. I had so much knowledge. I'm certified in a lot of different modalities myself, and when it comes to self-development. But here at MIU, I've been able to, because of the community support and everybody's alignment with healthy living values, I've been able to convert my knowledge, a lot of knowledge, into wisdom. I'm practicing those things. I practice going to sleep at early and waking up with the sunrise. I do my yoga asanas. I do my meditation. I eat healthier than ever before. And it has gradually, by being here that, like I said, that knowledge that I had before and knowing it's good for me, it has actually become my lifestyle. And that's what I wanted when coming here. Plus, you have professors that are so inspiring that live that same lifestyle, and then students who come in and aspire to do that as well.
That's actually an interesting point. I don't know if it's typical to have professors and staff and students kind of participating in a lifestyle together, not just that you're interacting in this one discipline. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about it that way. And I just want to make a mention too, even if you're thinking about being an online student, we just think that highlighting the spirit is important. And if you are ever motivated to come visit Fairfield, I think some people find themselves surprised at how it is like traveling the world being here. And it's a safe community. So if you have families and you want to be thinking about visiting here for potentially relocating, you can be an online student or on-campus student and enjoy the rich culture that's developed. Thank you, Marta-Kristi. So I think since you mentioned holistic lifestyle and everything, Muna, could you talk a little bit about your experience with the sustainable living, regenerative agriculture, and what you've done through being a student leader to connect the communities? You're a big force here. So tell us a little
Thanks,
bit about
Karen.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so I first came to MIU when I was 18, which is a little younger than the majority of the students here. And I was at University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign before that, which was a big state school in Illinois. I grew up in the city in Chicago. And I did not like the party mentality. I felt like I did not do well in the environment at University of Illinois. And so when I ended up transferring here, I decided to go into consciousness and human potential, which was the beginning of my degree. And I just fell in love with Vedic science and with meditating and with having this depth of experience paired with this really ancient knowledge that was I noticed it was integrated, embodied by the staff and the faculty and the students, which is just like really blew my mind when I got here. And it was during COVID, and I wanted to have an in-person experience. And MIU had just started transitioning online. So I actually dropped out of MIU and I decided to go woofing, which is Worldwide Organization of Organic Farms, where I could go and travel around the country to different farms. And it was really just so I could expand my awareness on the way people were living. I didn't really know anything about farming or that that's what I wanted to do. And through that, I realized that our food source, our quality of living, our relationship to the earth and the cycles of nature has taught me so much about who I am as a human, as part of the ecosystem. And I decided that I didn't decide, it kind of sprang upon me that that was my passion to go into regenerative agriculture. And I realized that MIU actually had a thriving farm program that I didn't even know about when I was first here. And I decided to come back and do my degree in regenerative agriculture. And so when you were mentioning about bringing the communities together, I've really felt so at home here and on the farm and on the farm community. It just feels like a big family that we can all relate to each other and support each other and have this shared vision of how humans are meant to be on the planet and in relationship to our health and our consciousness. And I noticed that there was just a lack of like acknowledgement or awareness about the farm from the school. And so I created this farm festival. This is our second year that we did it, and it was a huge success. About 400 people showed up, and we had live music and local food and farm tours, and was this huge like all night event. And I realized that community, the feeling of community, was actually the most integral part of this festival. It wasn't just bringing awareness to the farm, it was bringing everyone together to have this celebration of joy and just being together and having this world that we're cultivating. And it was so like so nourishing for everyone, that we just decided to do it again. And I'm still getting raving reviews to this day from random people that were in town that came, and people in school that met new people, made new connections. Yeah.
Yes, probably. Have you advertised that online too, to online students, or was that more of a local
No, that was a
advertisement?
local experience. Yeah.
Mm,
That was really
yeah.
just for in person. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that I've met other students who experienced MIU and they were surprised that it was the most global experience they've had. And it's moved some students to say, oh, this is what I want to replicate back home. I think there's something here that feels safe, like no matter the political climate, like when we gather, we don't even think about necessarily those divisions, because the unity part, there's so much more to be unified than what separates us. And it's really true. It's not just a conceptual surface idea. And things like the Farm Festival, to me, really brought all the elements of community, present students, alumni, and showed us there's a really vibrant community. I'm going to switch gears a little bit because David Bakis asked, I understand you practice TM several hours a day, like you did with flute. I guess it's someone who knows me. I thought that you were not supposed to practice it for more than 20 minutes at a time. So just to clarify, the transcendental meditation part will remain 20 minutes twice a day, but there's these additional techniques you can add on by choice, and that's all available. So that's also, even if you're online, you might want to know about that, because there are times when you structure these national TM retreats, so you could come here and learn an advanced technique and keep moving. There's also TM centers around the country where not only you learn transcendental meditation, but some of them offer advanced techniques. So just to give you in a nutshell, there's just this whole journey, and you can participate to the degree that you'd like to. And now I want to spotlight Joe because we haven't gotten to him yet. Joe, you had such a rich, deep training in advanced spiritual practices, and yet you came here already quite well versed in all these traditions. What did MIU offer to you that you didn't already have, and what's kept you in the community past, your graduation? So yeah, and tell us a little bit about yourself too.
Thank you. Great question. So I come from San Francisco with a career in the Silicon Valley area, and have explored different traditions. And I've heard about MIU. I was looking for a place where I could go deeper into consciousness, and so it came across my radar a few times, and so what I decided to do is reach out to the faculty and see really that, that's always kind of the best, right? If you're meeting a spiritual teacher, is talk to the students, and you could get it really quickly to to ascertain their quality of their development. And so I met with a couple of faculty members, and I was just really blown away by the level of depth and understanding of consciousness and higher states, and it was very rich. And so I felt like this would be a program I can really go deep and learn. And what's really unique here is it's they look at consciousness from different aspects. It's a very wide aperture from looking at it from a neuroscience perspective, philosophy, psychology, from the Vedic tradition, Sanskrit you learn. And so it's a very, very enriching program. And so for me, I really felt it was an opportunity to really kind of immerse myself in person, almost like an enrichment kind of degree. I looked at it, and it really feels like a retreat. The whole place is a really wellness, enriching environment that allows you to go deep, and you're meditating together as a group. There's a lot of activities to explore, from Ayurveda to different, amazing members of the community. There's so many people in this town that are authors of books that have such deep knowledge in science. That's also a large part of someone like Dr. Hagelin, who has gone really deep on the unified field and physics of consciousness, and there's just a breadth of knowledge available here. and all the different activities. And that's just a community, or the school, and then the community at large is all these advanced practitioners that are also exploring other things. And so it's just a very deep, enriching environment. And for me, I'm looking to see how like bringing that now out into the community, and looking at, from a business perspective of how to bring, that knowledge and how I can apply that into the world. And
Yeah.
one of the things I really learned was, here the knowledge goes into like the concept of the knower, the process of knowing, and the known. And you look at like the world of the internet has really like made everything known and everything's available, right? And today now we have the AI is coming to help us accelerate that process of knowing.
Right.
And what's left and what remains is the knower. And that's going to be the most critical thing in any aspect of life and career going forward, is to develop the knower.
AI resilient. And the only way to be AI resilient is to increase your consciousness.
Yes, exactly. So I think what really at MIU is really a pioneer in this space, and will be a larger part of what's going to be most important in the world at large going forward. Society.
Well, you got a question from David, not the one on the panel, but in the chat line. So Joe, someone's considering the master's in consciousness. So they want to know about the job prospects with this. Like, what's the practical side?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I didn't really have an intention other than just to learn, to go knowledge. But one of the unique things is that the TM movement has created a new pathway that could be available for you called consciousness advisors. And so you can go deep in the knowledge here, and then you can it's kind of essentially being a certified consciousness advisor, like a coach, and you can help teach applied aspects of consciousness to people. And so that's a new pathway. And you can also there's people that have gone on in my program to go into deeper aspects. So I had a student go into NYU in bioethics. I'm looking to kind of do some work in positive psychology. There's people going into business. A variety of different options are available. And I think the world at large is really understanding the value of consciousness. And so I think the career prospects are widening in that respect.
Yeah, those are the really practical links as well. But I think you've alluded to there's a whole cultural paradigm shift that takes place as soon as you introduce the vertical dimension of life. I mean, you're talking about an overhaul of how you perceive life and relationship, and that's a full-time endeavor in itself, let alone thinking of how to make a career track out of it. But I've noticed positive psychology, transpersonal psychology is one of those really practical elements that people tend to go into, because as soon as you excavate consciousness, it's like you're so at the basis of psychology. But I think we need to hear from David again on our panelist team. You're representing, I think, more the practical side, the traditional business degree. How does the spiritual dimension, or we're actually more on culture, it's just everybody went so spiritual, but let's do any of these things: global, heart-centric, consciousness development. How do these factors play into a business degree at MIU?
It's a great question, actually. And this is something for me, like over the past 5 years, I've been involved in many different businesses and, other communities where this is like something that is always approached. And I really love what Joe said about just being able to come from that sense of growth and consciousness. And so what I've found personally throughout my experiences here that I found very meaningful in this business major is the fact that people are here not only to be profit driven, and there's this model that I learned from a very incredible entrepreneur here. His name is Stuart, and it's like the three-tiered model of instead of just profit, you're also thinking of people and the planet. So you have to really consider, especially now in this day and age, how mindfulness, social impact, and compassion will actually allow you to have a much larger impact rather than just something that's profit driven. And so everyone here that I've found, and also like we have the Traction Thursdays events. We have all kinds of networking events for people within the town and beyond that want to be involved in this kind of world. But everybody's business that I've found here is all rooted in love and purpose and having a positive contribution to the planet. So I think those are the most important things for me. And like even when you talk about this culture of the heart, I think this is something I just wanted to emphasize because of my spiritual practices and background. Like I've been meditating for 8 years and doing all different kinds of like yoga, breath work, all this kind of stuff. But what I find is that, you know, the more you immerse yourself into these practices, you get to a point to where it's not just something you have to do in order to feel a certain way. It's like something that you learn to embody and like it changes the way you interact with other people, how you respond to the challenges in life. So you're not just like reacting, but you're coming from a more centered place of knowing how to respond to people and to situations that come up and make more conscious life decisions.
Mm.
So, you know, for me, that's really the biggest thing that I've gained through my experience here is learning how to respond to life much differently and coming from a more heart-centered style, so that I'm not like just like what you would normally find in society. People just like go, go, go. How can I make as much money? How can I build this, you know, this American dream lifestyle? But how can I come from a place of like to build trust, firstly within myself, that I can open my heart, that I can be a beacon for others to do the same and learn to tune into the rhythms of life and nature. And, you know, I think that's the most beautiful part about this whole
That's
community.
an incredibly beautiful answer. And I can almost see, like with our crop of students, how networks can form, and someone from regenerative agriculture can work with a business student and tie in with the consciousness element. And really, what I see with the students is like that's where we hope the world goes into, is just community support, tapping into something. Um, Thinking about Amin here, speaking of the traditional American dream, because you grew up in Algeria and came here when you were 18. So what has your experience been like with the community, and how has it supported you in integrating into American culture? We could start there, or
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
No, this is so beautiful. I think I wanted to first point to the fact that this is the type of conversation you have at MIU. Like what we're doing here, this webinar, this is like at
Mhm.
the lunch line, if you're in an online class, this is the type of conversations you have where you go really deep, really fast, and you connect on such a human level, like beyond where you're from or, you know, all of that. But the other aspect that I absolutely love about MIU is that it sometimes feels like a little bit like an international airport. It's like there's more than 80 countries represented, and you could just be sitting at the lunch line and chat with somebody from Nepal, and then have lunch with somebody from Ethiopia, and take a walk with someone from Mexico. And whether it's like first generation or second generation or third generation even people, it's like you get to meet real people from these different countries. And then what happens is you meet them here, you create these really deep bonds and friendships, and you travel around the world and you're like, hey, I was in Uganda and my friend Ruki's family has a house and I needed to crash for a week in Uganda. And it's like, I stayed with my friend Ruki. Or my friend Ruben is in Spain and I'm visiting Madrid, and maybe I can have him give me a tour of the city and just have a little tapas together. And it's like so cool, the connections that you make here, because it's not just surface connections that you make with people. It's really on a deep human level. And you've meditated together, you've eaten together, you've spent life with one another. So it creates something really beautiful and powerful. I'll say one more thing and then I'll address your question directly. The other thing is online. I'm the department chair for cinematic arts and new media, and I teach quite a bit online. And even in online situation, how do you kind of like bring what we have here in Fairfield to the people out there? And what I find is that the people that are drawn to MIU are drawn here because there's something deeper. There's something deeper to change the world, to change themselves, to grow as individuals, to open and meet people that can allow you to grow. So the culture with heart is centered around this idea of we're all growing together. So even when you're doing an online class and you do like a little breakout session, the depth of conversation is also there because everybody's here for that kind of unique angle to get an education. You're not just getting education in a particular topic, but you're getting an education on how to exist, how to live, how to be, and self-knowledge. So I find those things just incredibly beautiful. As far as integrating with American culture, Fairfield is right in the Midwest. It's like Fairfield, Iowa. We're surrounded with cornfields, with all kinds of farms, and so you're like right in the heart of that Midwest culture, which is also very like welcoming and very sweet and has all those, like family value and friendship values and things like that. So it's kind of like a good soft landing for international students, I find. Fairfield is a really great soft landing to be in America. It's like you arrive and it's a welcoming community, and it's like there's a lot of people to support you in understanding how to operate here. So anyway, these are some of the thoughts that I had on the topic.
Yeah, and I mean, to that point, I guess whether you're online or on campus, the impact of the depth brings us together, which actually brings to mind the types of stories that lead to people coming here. I mean, you don't Google consciousness just randomly. In a couple cases, people actually had that word come to them after a near-death experience, and then it just goes really quickly to a Facebook ad or on Instagram. So I think already from the get-go, that makes it a unique community. And then as soon as you add a discussion thread on the forum or you have a question in class, it's not just like the horizontal dimensions of life, meaning like just the knowledge bits that you're learning in time. There's just this vertical depth, which actually I want Marta-Kristi to tend to this, because I think of Marta-Kristi as coming from, also very good education. And there's a sort of Ivy League type smart, but then there's like an MIU type depth. And I wonder, Marta-Kristi, if you can kind of explain a little bit, like what kind of students do you find here? How do we compare to like Ivy League or academic? Are we similar or different? Yeah.
It's a great question, actually, because I went to a different, bigger college before, and we had really huge classrooms, and you're simply, and I know other big colleges, you just end up, there's a lot of test taking, right, where you fill in your Scantron, there's multiple choice. I haven't had a single multiple choice type of thing here at MIU. It's always, it's different. It's we give a lot of presentations. The emphasis is really on you. In those big schools, you don't even get to meet, your professors and one-on-one. But to your question, how we are different, I would say here, people you meet here are also very intellectually, academically brilliant, very, very resourceful. So I was surprised, it's very intelligent people, but they're also that the emphasis on this development of like what you call the vertical depth adds something beautiful and like something heart-centered, where people are more about making I mean, everybody's about making a difference, but people who come to MIU, not only do they want to, like expand their knowledge and acquire practical skills, but there's this deep sense of wanting to make a difference or to live your purpose, to make this world a better place. And the focus here is on making yourself that better person. When you're aligned with your inner self, you go to the depth of your true self, what is called the capital S self. At MIU, we take that 100% dive within. And there's another emphasis is that on the whole thing about 200% life, 100% inner and 100% outer. So in traditional schools, it's just all about the knowledge, the known, the all information and acquiring more and more and more information. But here it's just getting to know the knower, getting to know who you are. And it's very important in this rapidly changing environment with AI. I think Harvard's professor Karim Lakiani wrote this article about that with humans, AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. And this rapid change that is already happening, where so many jobs will be changed and you have to be adaptable. So being here at MIU and taking that vertical dive is more important than ever before, because that makes you flexible in the face of that rapid external change. It's always going to change, but now it's changing faster than ever before. So we have this unique competitive advantage here. And I feel like in the future, more and more education will eventually come to what we have here. So we are literally on the cutting edge. We are the consciousness league here, That's I like saying that.
Consciousness league. Yeah, that's good. All right, Muna, did you have a closing remark for us? What do you want to wrap up with?
Yeah, I wanted to mention off of something that Marta-Kristi was talking about, and it's about what consciousness-based education is. A lot of people on the spiritual path, they think I need to reject society, I need to become a recluse, or I need to go and live on a commune, or figure out something because I'm not able to fit in this society. I feel like a gift that MIU has really brought me, because I felt the same way. I said, I need to go live in the land away from all this craziness. MIU has really brought me the structure and the community and the engagement with the world in a way that I feel like I've developed so much that I'm prepared now to take the knowledge that I have, and I feel really empowered to now be even more involved in society. Like, I want to go and offer myself to what is out there right now. And I feel like with this niche perspective, being really grounded in myself and having this knowledge of consciousness as like a backbone, I feel like I have a really good opportunity to get positions and work with organizations and network in a way that I didn't know was possible before. So it really actually brings you more into the world than out of the world that you'd think of with a spiritual practice.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And I think Marta-Kristi pulled out that word 200% of life. So that's what she was alluding to. It's a big concept here that you want to have 100% inner and 100% outer life both together. Makes life an enlightenment. So we hope you're inspired by these big ideas. If you like the vibe, this is it. This is the vibe of the culture, online or on campus. And we hope that you're part of us in one way or the other, whether you're a student or you want to just come around and learn the techniques or be part of our retreats or come to Fairfield. There's so much happening here to awaken the depths of your soul and prepare your physiology for the world that we're entering into. So final points here. Okay, see, these are the 3 different ways you can study. You can be on campus, you can be online, or there's a hybrid option where you actually move your family to Fairfield. You're still an online student, but you can participate in all of these on-campus resources. I guess there's the hybrid option as well, where you could take some of your classes on campus and some online. And then, yes, move to Fairfield. We have visitors weekends. Actually, this weekend is the last one for the fall, but we'll have more in the spring. And just be aware that we have a very generous transfer credit policy, and you can transfer up to 90 credits towards your bachelor's degree. More than 90% of university students receive financial aid. And the next application deadline is January 15th. That's for the February entry. It's not just undergraduate programs, there are also some graduate programs. And once you, oh, yes, and pointing out the apply button on every page to make it easy for you. Different ways to engage with us. We have these visitors weekends, we have a visitors Saturday, but we also have these webinars going. Please let us know in the chat if there are any other themes you want us to explore with you, or any other degree programs you want us to emphasize. We'll make sure to create a webinar on that topic. There was a question about disrupting the pharmaceutical company, for example. So we could talk about social change. That would be a cool topic. You can also request to meet a professor, like Joe did, and get your questions answered. And this is a really cool feature. So once you've applied and been accepted, even before you start your classes, now you can qualify for learning transcendental meditation at no cost to you from any of the centers. And every student learns transcendental meditation. If you don't learn before becoming a student, you have up to the first 4 weeks or so to get your transcendental meditation instruction in. And that brings us to the end of the webinar. We're going to stay live here in case there are remaining questions, but the webinar has officially come to an end. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you to our student panelists. All right, so again, we'll stay on and receive any remaining questions. Thank you for your time.